Now, if you are in Congo, Kenya, Zambia, Tanzania, Malawi, this video is specifically for you. And if your country has any forest in it, this video is also very important for you. Now, in Kenya, in 2022, there are several things that happened. Rachel Ruto, the first lady of Kenya, adopted, that is the word, adopted a forest of size 500 hectares or something. Now, in addition to that, several things followed, including people were given days to holidays for planting trees and everything. Now, on the surface, the whole thing looked very innocent. I mean, who wouldn't really want to plant trees, improve nature, etc. But behind the scenes, Kenyans were being robbed. Now, in addition to that, there are very many forests in Kenya in which people were evicted from, and tougher laws were introduced to ensure that people were not cutting down the trees. Now, unknown to them, there is something known as carbon credits, and Kenya had been selling these so-called carbon credits. Now, there are very many people who would be asking what are carbon credits, and a summary of it is that a carbon credit is some sort of an agreement that someone gives you money to ensure that you don't cut any tree in a certain forest for a period of time. So we have these very many airlines that have been polluting the environment for a very long period of time. And these airlines, what they decided or they came up is with a sort of an idea in which they would continue polluting the environment, though at a smaller rate, but also they would pay people in Africa or in places where there are very many forests to ensure that they don't cut down the trees within their locality for a period of time, so that these trees can absorb the CO2 and the global warming gases that they are producing. Now, that is how the whole thing of carbon credit has been working, and very many people in Africa, especially citizens, don't really know of this. Now, the moment the first lady of Kenya actually started adopting trees, and people were being told to go and plant very many trees, to multiply trees and everything, most people didn't realize that they were doing services, planting trees that some people would be benefiting from. Now, what is actually happening in Kenya is that this government of President William Ruto, this so-called president that people tend to praise very much, has been receiving money from carbon credits. Now, instead of using this money to compensate the people who would be cutting the trees in the forest, the populations around these forests, the government officials have been receiving this money and pocketing this money. And what is actually happening is you've created a situation in which people are being arrested for going into the forest, and that was their only livelihood. We have people who have been going to the forest to get firewood, to burn coal, so that they can get the money, support their families and everything. But this money, the forests are being sold for carbon. The trees have been given out for carbon credit, and no one can cut the trees. And the government officials have received the money, and in exchange, they have sent police and KWS officials to go and guard those trees, So what is happening is that the persons who came up with the idea, thinking that this idea is supposed to help the poor, is ending up with a situation in which the money is coming out, is going to pockets of a very few people. And in Kenya, there is no official who has come out to say, we have received this money from carbon credits that has helped these people and everything. In Africa, Congo is the country that has been selling the most carbon credits so far. And these forests in Congo are found in places that there are very many poor people. But this money, for some reason, is not getting to these people. And what is actually happening in Congo, and you'll see it in Malawi and very many other countries, you will be told to go and plant very many trees, etc. and everything. But what you're actually doing is planting trees so that very few people get to make money out of it. Now, in Kenya, in addition, something interesting happened. Early last year, there is a very huge patch of land which has very many forests that was sold to some sort of an Arab for carbon credit system. Now, this is a disaster waiting to happen, or it is already a disaster, because what is actually happening is that governments are selling pieces of land that have forests, that have people who have been residing around this forest, and these forests are being turned into private properties. That means these Arab from Dubai or etc. has come into Kenya, bought this forest, and these Arab will be receiving carbon credit money from other companies. And this money that is supposed to help the population around that forest will be ending back to Dubai or these Arab countries or some big tycoons' pockets. And this is a disaster that we should not really allow to happen in Africa.